Today's show brought to you by redcon1.com. That's right. Click the link at the bottom of the podcast app in which you are listening to this on. Check them out. Use promo code T20Quartermiss. That's right. redcon1.com.
There's nothing special about being American. None of you can define for me what an American is.
I am the nation. I was born on July 4th, 1776, and the Declaration of Independence is my birth certificate. The bloodlines of the world run in my veins because I offered freedom to the oppressed. I am many things and many people. I am the nation. I am 200 million living souls and the ghost of millions who have lived and died for me. I am Nathan Hale and Paul Revere. I stood at Lexington and fired the shot heard round the world. I'm Washington, Jefferson, Patrick Henry. I'm John Paul Jones, the Green Mountain Boys, Davy Crockett. I'm Lee.
Coming to you from the DTOM Studios in the free state of Florida, sponsored by Maker's Mark Bourbon, this is Don't Tread on Merica. How's everybody doing out there today? It is Sunday, April 26th, 2026. How's everybody's Sunday going? Hopefully well. Hopefully you have a great start to your week this week. It's supposed to be off today. Well, I was off today and tomorrow, but I'm actually working tomorrow. Poor me. Anyway. But I should have a pretty decent week, so I'm going to bring you at least 2 shows this week, maybe 3. But today we're going to talk about Bitcoin and whether or not you should invest in it or not. But I do have a blockbuster show coming up on Tuesday, so I encourage you guys to please follow the show on social media. Don't Tread on America on Facebook, Instagram, True Social, the Ticker Talker. Also on, of course, the Twitter X Machine, DTOM Podcast 1776. Guys, follow the show. Subscribe to whatever podcast app you're listening to this on. Subscribe. Follow the show. It doesn't cost you anything. We have no Patreons. We don't do any of that bullshit. I'm just an American trying to get the truth out. I'm knocking down doors, guys. I'm first. I'm on first. Everyone else is batting next. Follow the show, guys. I'm not going to steer you wrong on this show, okay? I'm just a dude with a full-time job and a part-time podcast. But trust me when I tell you, follow the show. Be here Tuesday. I'm going to break down these missing scientists and missing personnel, their deaths, and everything else. Also, if you're not on social media, follow the show. DontTreadonMerica.com. If you want to email me, hit me up. DontTreadonMerica.com. And, of course, we're going to crank it up. A little bit of damn Yankees. Don't Tread on America version, courtesy of one Ted, Theodore Nugent. Guys, I encourage you to sing along. Today, we're going to break down Bitcoin. Is it what we think it is, or is there something sinister behind it? I really wanted to do my other show today, but I'm still working out the kinks on it. That's why we're going to bring it to you Tuesday, because it's going to be a long one. And I need to be prepared, fully prepared. But we'll talk more later. After this, here we go. Come on. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Tread on America, the podcast where we stomp on tyranny, expose the deep state, and refuse to bow to the fiat overlords. Of course, I'm your host, Donq, coming to you from the heart of the fight for freedom. Today, we're going full red pill, guys. We're talking Bitcoin. Not the shiny digital coin your libertarian buddy shills at the barbecue. Nah. We're ripping the mask off the biggest financial conspiracy of the 21st century. Was Bitcoin engineered by NASA, CIA, and the deep state as a Trojan horse to wreck the US dollar, normalize total surveillance money, and herd us straight into programmable CBDCs? We're diving into 96. We're going way back, guys. We're getting in the Wayback Machine, 30 years to an NSA paper on how to make a mint. The eerie 97 2025 futurist book that smells like predictive programming, and Satoshi's ghost. The Genesis block bailout message, and more after the solo. Hold on. If you guys are watching this on Rumble, Don't Tread on America TV, you see me playing a mean air guitar right now. It's vicious, guys. I am the world's best air guitarist, if you guys didn't know that. I have a trophy. We're also going to listen a little bit of Tucker Carlson dropping bombs. Pablo Escobar's brother screaming CIA scam. Natalia Kaspersky calling it the dollar 2.0 for black budget ops. And every overlapping theory that says this wasn't grassroots freedom tech. It was a controlled op from day one. And listen, guys, just because the mainstream calls it unproven doesn't mean the government isn't hiding the receipts. History is littered with conspiracy theories that turned out to be declassified ops. We're not dismissing a damn thing. We're connecting the dots because freedom dies in the darkness. So grab your coffee. I, of course, have a big-ass glass of whiskey right here, your tinfoil hat, and maybe a stack of sats. A stack of sats. This one is going to be a good one, guys. We're going to drop some pure truth bombs, so let's get to it, okay? All right, for those of you that are just tuning in, we've been unpacking how Bitcoin launched right after the 2008 bank bailouts when trust in the dollar was in the toilet. Satoshi's white paper, the Genesis block embedded that London Times headline about the second bank bailout. Too perfect. But was it a protest or a cover? Picture this, if you will. Global financial meltdown. Banks bailed out with trillions printed from thin air. People are furious. Enter Satoshi Nakamoto. October 31st, 2008. That was Halloween, guys. And that's very symbolic, don't you think? White paper drops promising peer-to-peer electronic. If I could just talk, I tell you, I'd be whatever. Electronic cash without trusted third parties. An anti-fiat manifesto. But what if it was the ultimate psyop to siphon that rage into a digital system the deep state could track, control, and later weaponize? But we'll circle back. But first, the blueprint that came 12 years earlier. Fast rewind to June of 1996. NSA's cryptology division, Lori Law, Susan Sabet, and Jerry Solanas, published How to Make a Mint, the cryptography of anonymous electronic cash. This is not classified anymore, guys. You can read this online. You can look that up. How to Make a Mint. It is a book, a pamphlet. This thing surveys every cypherpunk idea out there. Blind signatures, public key crypto, untraceable payments. It's basically a how-to for digital cash that looks eerily like what Bitcoin became 12 years later, right? Now, conspiracy folks say this wasn't academic curiosity, it was the blueprint. Bitcoin uses SHA-256. Guess who helped standardize that? The NSA, yeah. Satoshi's name? Some linguists twist it as Japanese for Central Intelligence, or the origin of clear thinking at the center. Coincidence? Or is it a signature? So, there's a NSA paper out there, and this report has surveyed the academic literature for cryptographic techniques for implementing secure cash systems. So, why the NSA revelations? Now, this is a paper that I found. This is 12 years ago. Should make people worried about the safety of Bitcoin. Now, this has probably been discussed before, but I don't see how Bitcoin can be a safe method of storing wealth, given our current situation where the NSA observes everything. Not just that, the NSA has installed backdoors in nearly all of its hardware. Both Intel and AMD processors likely have hardware backdoors for the NSA. So every computer you use, I'm on a HP and I have Intel, right? Most computers have Intel or the other thing I said, AMD. Back in 2010, the NSA broke a variety of cryptographic standards. In addition, we know that the NSA has lobbied organizations to implement weak cryptographic standards. Furthermore, we know that the NSA has pushed for flawed random number generators. Weak random number generators have previously have led to the theft of large numbers of Bitcoin on mobile devices. Bitcoin completely relies on the integrity of the SH-256 algorithm, which was developed by the same NSA that intentionally pushes flawed cryptographic standards. Bruce Schneier no longer trusts the NSA's elliptic curve cryptography standards, as he believes they may have intentionally chosen a weak elliptic curve that the NSA can use. The numbers used are supposed to be random to make it unlikely that anyone could exploit a weak curve, but the NSA provided different numbers that are non-random. Vitalik Buterin, maybe that's right, argues that we can expect Bitcoin not to use a weak curve, as the numbers used in Bitcoin are fairly simple to calculate, whereas arbitrary numbers would create a possibility of Satoshi using an intentional weak curve. However, it seems that we can argue that exact opposite as well. Bitcoin uses. I'm not going to read all these numbers, which arrived. It's 112203731619846709846655840079088346716663, which is arrived by calculating second squared by 256 subtracted by second to the 36 subtracted by 977, and it seems fairly arbitrary to me as well. That's easy to figure out, right? Perhaps the main cause of the worries is the fact that the NSA in '96 created a document outlining how to make digital currency based on cryptography. Thus, we know the NSA has been studying the possibility of cryptocurrencies for a long period. Considering how the NSA manages to keep control over cryptography by releasing weak standards itself, it is possible that the NSA attempts to do the same with cryptocurrency. Finally, we should be worried about who this anonymous hacker who calls himself Satoshi Nakamoto might be. The Bitcoin source code contained different incomplete ideas that were never implemented, such as decentralized marketplace. It all seems very ambitious to be the product of a single individual. And we also have this here. So there is also someone named Tatsuki Okamoto who is also involved. The name is close to Satoshi Nakamoto when rearranged, an anagram, if you will. As many of you know, NSA is also behind SHA-256, which Bitcoin uses. So, essentially, you have a program that was developed by the NSA, SHA-256, and that is a program that the NSA uses for cryptography situations. So what that means is algorithms, things that are on your computers, okay? And when I say on your computers, I'm not just talking about when you're searching the web, but also on your TikTok and on your Instagram and Snapchat, Facebook, any other method of social media. They all use this same form that creates these algorithms, okay? You are seeing things online that you are meant to see. So that's why whenever we talk about whatever we're talking about, not just this, but all the subjects we've covered on 615 episodes of Don't Tread on America, when I tell you to keep digging, I tell you to do this. I don't care what search engine you use. Use Google, use Donq, use Bing, use whatever's out there. I don't care. It doesn't matter. They're all controlled by this same program. That's why you can never trust the first page or two of whatever search engine you're using. You have to keep digging. The answers are out there, the true answers, because it's very hard for them to hide everything. And here's the key. So me and Chris have run into these different situations in talking about different topics, okay? Chris is basically, he's still involved with the show. He might not be on here as much or barely at all for that matter, but nonetheless, he is very much involved. He feeds me information. I do the research. So what happens is he'll send me something. And here's the key. We've come to learn this. It's not about saving whatever he sends me. It's about either, if it's a video, I have to screen record it off of my phone. Or if it's a website, a picture, whatever, I need to screenshot that. Reason being is because he could send me something right now. If I don't immediately open it and look at it, there's a very good chance that in 5-10 minutes, it's gone. That has happened. I said, I'll text him back, what did you just send me? Because there's nothing there. And we go through this whole thing. Fortunately, he it was this, and he'll search it some more and he'll find it. Look at it now. Okay, look at it. And I have to look at it now. And that's the thing. So whenever you're searching a topic that we might be talking about, whether it's Bitcoin or whatever, and I say to dig deeper, that's what you have to do. Don't just, let me see what he's talking about, and Google it, and then you're like, there's nothing here. This guy's a fucking idiot. Trust me. I'm not making this shit up, guys. It's there. Okay? They've been mapping this out for a while. The rest of us were just using dial-up. And remember, just because it's not proven, Satoshi read it doesn't mean the deep state didn't run with it. Governments hide tech all the time until it's useful. But right now, we're going to take a quick break. But ponder and think about what I just said, because we're just heating up here, guys. So hang tight. First commercial. And of course, what we have to do on our first commercial is talk about the sponsor of the show, Alp. You see what I'm doing there, right? If you're watching this on Rumble, Don't Tread on America TV, those are 12s, baby. We're talking Alp. When the deep state's printing money and the world's going crazy, you need to stay sharp. That's why I'm powered by Alp nicotine pouches. Clean, strong, no smoke, no judgment. Guys, go to alppouch.com/DTOM for 20% off your first order. alppouch.com/DTOM. Fuel the fight, America. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Hang tight. January 3rd, 2009. Genesis block minded. Embedded message. The Times, 03 Jan 2009. Chancellor on brink of second bailouts for banks. Satoshi was screaming, "Fiat is broken." Or was it the perfect false flag to build trust? Over 1 million BTC still sitting in Satoshi's wallets, untouched. Why? The Honeypot? Black budget reserve? Fast forward, and Tucker Carlson at Bitcoin 2024 private event, he's laughing, but he's dead serious. And he's going to have his Tucker Carlson laugh here.
Do you invest in Bitcoin? Do you think it's like a viable asset to invest in?
Oh, man. I don't want to make more enemies. I mean, you want the real, it's my last answer, but you want the actual answer?
Yeah, sure.
And here's why. I spoke at the Bitcoin conference actually last year. I've spoken at a couple of Bitcoin conferences. I love the idea of Bitcoin because I love the idea of financial autonomy. I don't want what I buy or sell to be tracked. I don't want my money to be tracked. It's nobody's business. I pay my taxes. I've never cheated on my taxes. I've been very tempted, but I never have one time cheated on my taxes. And once the money's mine, like, I can do what I want with it. And if you find me breaking the law, arrest me. But if you don't, it's none of your beeswax, as the kids say. So I love the idea of the blockchain. I knew some of the people involved in that whole thing. And I still believe in that promise, okay? Roger Ver, for example. I don't know how closely do you follow this, but like, there are people who still believe in that. But it turns out that it is not, to this point, Ben, I hope it will be, a way to conduct financial transactions privately at all. And that really freaks me out. I'm really afraid of a digital currency because that is totalitarian control. If you can punish people, if you can zero out their bank account and keep them from eating, you will have total obedience. Like, that's totalitarian. And I know that young people love crypto because they've been completely screwed in the job market and there are no financial opportunities for most of them. And they know they're staring down a life of, if not poverty, certainly a step down from the way they grew up, most young people. And so Bitcoin for them, crypto in general for them, is a promise of like, how can I make it in this world? Like, I would like to have a normal life. How can I do that? And crypto is a way they think that they can. And I'm praying for them. I hope that's true. But I fear that it will become like so many other things in our country, a scam of sorts, run by a coalition of the financial beneficiaries, like a few people who are getting all the winnings, and the politicians they control who use it to further their control of American society. I'm really worried about that. And so I'll just be totally blunt with you. I'm a gold buyer, and I've been vindicated big time in that. And everyone's like, oh, you're crazy, buying gold. Yeah. You know, it was good enough for the Phoenicians, it's good enough for me. And I, in general, don't get involved in anything I don't understand. I think that's a really good rule. There's some things I think I understand, turns out I didn't understand them, but in general, I try to limit myself to things I understand. And nobody can explain to me who Satoshi was, the creator of Bitcoin, this mysterious guy who apparently died, but nobody knows who he was. You know, I grew up in D.C. primarily, in a government family, so CIA. That's my guess, can't prove it, but like, you're telling me to invest in something whose founder is like mysterious and has billions of dollars of unused Bitcoin? Like, what is that? And no one can answer the question, including some of the biggest holders of Bitcoin in the world. Do I know personally? They're like, oh, it doesn't matter. It matters to me, right?
So my thought process. Hold on, let me turn this down before I jam your ass out with music here. Come on, where you at? So he says obviously it was the CIA. We all know that. It's like Signal. They got there first. It's a honey trap. It's a way for people to invest their money into a digital currency that, the reason I thought about doing this show was I saw a video on TikTok last week. And it was a video of a girl. And this was in 97. Now, probably when that video came out, I mean, the internet was relatively new. I don't know if it was a commercial or what, but the dog, it was a young girl, 10, 12, whatever. Father, what do you got there? Well, I used my allowance and I bought this Bitcoin stuff. And it was like a penny or something like that, a share back then. It was new. It was dirt cheap. And she had used her allowance and bought like 500 Bitcoins because she had the money. And, she probably spent $50, whatever that. I don't remember the dollar amount of what the Bitcoin was valued at the time when she bought it, but I think she spent like $50, I think is what he said. And, the father says, wow, can you imagine if that goes to $100 a coin? You'll be able to, you'll be a millionaire as a teenager or, whatever, whenever that time comes. And I felt like that was a way to encourage people to invest in this. Now, I don't recall back then, but I do recall in 2008, 2009, when Bitcoin had made this push. And the girl comments, it's just numbers on a screen. It's just a fun thing to do, I remember when Bitcoin came out, and, I knew people personally, you probably did too, maybe you invested in Bitcoin, and if you did, cash out. That's all I can say. But it was, $100, you could buy, 10 Bitcoins or whatever. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's digital. It's fake. There's nothing backing it. Kind of like the U.S. dollar. No, but I mean, at least you could take the U.S. dollar and buy silver, buy gold. You can physically buy stuff with that. I mean, technically, you can buy Bitcoin with that. But that Bitcoin fluctuates more than gas prices do. And you have a situation where I remember, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, it was around 30,000-ish. It was fluctuated between high 20s, low 30s. Like every day I happen to look at it because, you started seeing these Bitcoin ATMs pop up in like your little convenience stores and stuff. And it was like 28,000 today, and it's 32,000 tomorrow, and it's 35, but then it's back down to 29, and then it's back. It literally fluctuated like that day to day. Now, I don't know what it is exactly at today. I want to say it's around 80-something thousand. But like a month or two ago, it was over 100,000 a coin. So, and that's how you can lose your ass. And it's a situation where you really don't know where to just sell. But if you think about it, Tucker grew up in a DC government family. He says CIA. Not joking around the edges. He won't even invest because nobody can tell him who Satoshi is. Folks, when a guy like Tucker, who's been right on so many different deep state things, says this, you have to listen. Then there's Roberto de Jesus Escobar Rivera, Pablo Escobar's brother. In 2018, he launches Diet Bitcoin as a direct rebellion. In his book and interviews, he flat out says, I am the first person in the world to publicly come out and claim that Bitcoin was created by the American government. He goes on to say, this world is going to wake up. The CIA is going to sell all of their coins and destroy the value of Bitcoin. He claims he met Satoshi, turned out to be an FBI CIA informant named Miguel Cana. So, what do I have here? So, no, I don't want to read that. In this article, he says, so we'll get the boring stuff out. I'm going to read this article. This is from Vice. This was back in 2018. Colombian drug lord Pablo Escobar's brother Roberto Escobar is launching a new cryptocurrency called Diet Bitcoin. It's a clone of Bitcoin of the kind that can take mere minutes to create, with no changes or improvements whatsoever. But Escobar Inc. is nonetheless hawking virtual coins for $2 each right now. This was back in 18, and $1,000 in later rounds of crowd sale. Now, here's the good shit. Along with Diet Bitcoin's launch came a 280-page book, part memoir, part manifesto, titled Pablo Escobar's Diet Coin: A True Story by Roberto Escobar. Roberto allegedly authored the book. When they reached out to Escobar Inc. for an interview, the company said he was not available, but the CEO, Olaf Gustafsson, told them over the phone that Roberto wrote it. In it, Roberto claims that he had a close encounter with a U.S. government agent posing as a pseudonym creator of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto. This encounter led Roberto to conclude that the U.S. government created Bitcoin and will one day crash the market by selling all of Nakamoto's stashed Bitcoins. The veracity of this tale is highly suspect. Roberto Escobar is a well-known eccentric who once claimed to have cured HIV with his knowledge of horses. I don't know how he did that, but the book mentions email interactions with John McAfee, who at the time was still around. We've reached out to him to confirm the account, but have not heard back. Regardless, it's an absolutely ripping yarn. Let's take a closer look, shall we? Diet Bitcoin story, as the book tells it, with Roberto sitting in his deceased brother's old house thinking, what has happened to the world? What has happened to the world? The next morning, he learned about cryptocurrencies in news articles and called up two associates going by El Silencio and El Conheya. Roberto said he was interested in creating his own cryptocurrency. Weeks later, he got a call from El Conheya. He's telling me that he is talking to Satoshi Nakamoto. He is not just talking, he is with me right now in Lima, Peru. I said, El Conheya, I do not know who this man is. Bring him to my house. El Conheya responded, okay. The meeting was materialized, but Roberto nonetheless agreed to start a new cryptocurrency with the help of a person claiming to be Satoshi Nakamoto, the pseudonym used by the person or people who invented Bitcoin. As the book tells it, Roberto became suspicious when the would-be Satoshi sent a photo of their alleged passport, which stated that their name was legally Satoshi Nakamoto. And we have a picture of it right here. El Conheya then attempted to convince Roberto to meet the alleged Nakamoto in New York, which increased his suspicion. He declined and stayed home in Colombia. Later, a tour bus stopped in front of his house. This isn't outside the norm, the book tells it. And one person in particular asked too many questions. Roberto sent the man's photo to his contacts, who reported back that the man was Miguel Cana and was an informant working for the FBI. Later, Roberto got a call from an associate in Los Angeles who told him she found someone who knew the real identity of the nosy tourist who went by Miguel Cana. The associate confirmed that Cana was in LA, meaning Cana was in Colombia, LA, and Roberto concluded Lima, Peru, where he posed as Satoshi Nakamoto. Near the end of the book, Roberto does the literary equivalent of James T. Kirk screaming, "Con! Miguel Cana, what is your real name? Show me Miguel. Show your face, Miguel. Do not come to my house. Do not ask me questions to find out about cryptocurrencies and infiltrate Escobar Incorporated by sending us emails and phone calls while you and your people are pretending to be Satoshi Nakamoto. Miguel Cana, show your face. I'm writing this book for you to show your real face and tell the world who you really are." So, Roberto says the deep state will crash the market once enough normies are hooked. A classic pump and dump on the global scale. Not confirmed, obviously, but why would a guy with that background risk it unless he saw something? Government hide ops. This fits the pattern. But hold that thought, guys. It's time to protect yourself while we dig deeper. Next commercial. Hang tight. So, in a world where the deep state tracks every transaction, you need NordVPN. Military-grade encryption, no logs, stream anything. Use promo code DTOM at NordVPN.com for a huge discount plus free months, guys. Stay anonymous, stay free. We'll be right back. Hang tight. Cybersecurity heavyweight Natalia Kaspersky, co-founder of Kaspersky's Lab, drops this in 2018. St. Petersburg presentation, slides are leaked. Bitcoin is an initiative of the American intelligence agencies to ensure swift funding for intelligence tasks privatized like the internet. GPS is this dollar 2.0, she says. Satoshi isn't one guy. It's a group of U.S. cryptographers. A Russian expert calling out U.S. intel on Bitcoin. That's not nothing. Again, unproven doesn't mean untrue. Intelligence agency runs ops through cutouts. So now we'll go back and we're going to talk about the 1997 book, 2025. Scenarios of U.S. and global societies reshaped by science and technology, by Coates, Mahaffey, and Hines. Futurist scenarios, digital money, cashless society, tech reshaping finance. Some online are calling it the blueprint, mixing it with the NSA paper. It's not a direct NSA doc, but conspiracists see it as a public-facing roadmap. Excuse me. Get society comfortable with digital cash so the deep state can flip the switch. Even if not literally timed, the timing right after the NSA paper screams coordinated foresight. Governments don't publish plans in plain sight, or do they? Is this predictive programming 101? So here's where it all converges. Bitcoin normalizes digital money during the dollar's weakest moment. Public ledger, perfect for eventual surveillance. Excuse me, gosh darn. Once everyone's hooked, regulate it, tax it, or crash it. Then roll out CBDCs that are programmable, expiring, trackable. No more cash privacy. Negative rates, freeze dissident accounts. Done. Theorists say that Bitcoin, was the trial run to wreck dollar hegemony, de-dollarization on steroids, while the deep state pivots to full control. Roberto warned the CIA. Hold on a second. Damn. Sorry. Bitcoin theorists say that Bitcoin was a trial run to wreck dollar. I already read that. While the deep state pivots to full control. Roberto warned the CIA dump would destroy retail wealth. Tucker called it a honey trap. Kaspersky said black budget tool. So, what if Satoshi's million Bitcoin is the ultimate kill switch? What if the 2008 timing was deliberate to accelerate fiat distrust? And you figure this was 8 years ago. Now, look at what's happened in these 8 years since then. We've had COVID. We've had a market destabilization. We've had record inflation throughout the world. This isn't just an American thing, guys. This is a world situation. It's not just Americans that are involved with Bitcoin. So when we say this kind of stuff, we're talking about a world market crash, not just an American crash. This is a way for the world deep state, whether it's the WEF, I don't know, Rothschild, I don't know, whoever, these elites throughout the world, to control every single person in this world and what they can buy and what they can't buy. Control their money. Now, I personally have invested in cryptocurrency, okay? But nothing crazy. You know, I think $20, $50, nothing crazy. Mainly just to see what it does. Okay? And like I said, one day that $50 is 100. Then one day that $50 is 5. And then the next day it's 200. And then it's $3. And then it fluctuates like that. I didn't do it to get rich. I did it to see. I like money, just like everyone that's probably listening to this. I like to buy stuff and I like to have stuff. And obviously, the richer you are, the more shit you have. The poorer you are, the more stuff you wish you had. It is what it is. We've all been there on one end or the other. And I'm not the kind of person that likes to give money away. I don't gamble for the most part. I might throw $50 on whatever it's called, Hard Rock Bets or whatever the app is, during football season, just to fuck around. I don't do it to make money. I just do it to play the game, essentially. But $50, and if I lose it, I lose it. Sometimes I win money, and then I just keep the money in there, and I have it to just keep playing. But outside of that, I don't go to the casino. My wife, likes to go. I just can't. I just don't see the point. If I'm going to go to a casino and spend $100, $200, $300, I'd rather put that $300 in savings. That's my mindset on it. But essentially, this is what it is, because you see, back 20 years ago when this all first started, people probably thought, well, if I put $100 in, it's only $100. What if? Okay, so I don't know what Bitcoin was 20 years ago when it first started, but let's say it was $1 a coin. You buy 100 coins, okay? If you had done that and never bought another coin and never sold it, right now, you would have, $8 million in the bank. Okay? You win. The problem is, when it was $1 a coin and someone put $100 in, then it went to, say, $5 a coin or $10 a coin, and then you might have put another $100 in, or maybe you put 1,000 in, and maybe you told your buddies and they put money in, and they told their buddies and they put money in, blah, blah, blah. And that's the thing. Once there's enough people that have constantly invested in Bitcoin, and companies that use Bitcoins for transactions, countries that use Bitcoins for transactions. There's football players that sign contracts and use part of their contract in Bitcoin. Is it smart? Is it dumb? I don't know. I think I'd rather, if I sign an NFL contract or a baseball contract and you're going to give me $10 million, let's say you're giving me a $10 million signing bonus, I'd rather maybe take $5 million of that in gold. Seriously, like physical gold. Not a certificate that says I have $5 million in gold. Give me $5 million in gold. That's just my thought process, because that fluctuates too, but it generally keeps growing. If you got $5 million in gold today, in 5 years from now, it might be worth $8 million in gold. You understand where I'm going with this? Bitcoin could do the same thing, or it could drop to zero and you lost $5 million. Gold's been valuable forever. It's going to continue to be valuable for whatever reasons. whether it's to wear around your neck and have a pretty necklace or a watch or a bracelet, or if it's to build semiconductors or different electronic devices. Bitcoin is imaginary. It's created out of nothing. Oh, you can get a Bitcoin mining machine. What the fuck are you mining? You're just playing numbers. That's all it is. It's just random numbers. And when those numbers hit, it increases. When they don't hit, it decreases. It's just a random sequence of numbers. That's all this is. One more break, guys, because even in the Matrix, you have to sleep. So please, hang tight. All right, support American-made and fight the woke mind virus mind pillow. Best pillows, sheets, towels made in the great old USA. Use promo code DTOM at mypillow.com or call 800-123-4567 for massive discounts. Mike Lindell's Fight for You. Join the fight. We'll be right back. Hang tight. All right, guys, so let's wrap this puppy up. We've covered the Oh, I gotta sneeze down. Of course. Not getting sick, I just, all of a sudden, right? We covered the Honeypot for Black Ops. There's surveillance test button as a professional podcast here, guys. The bubble and crash plan, the Great Reset overlap. Every thread points one way. Bitcoin wasn't just anti-government, it might be the government's long game to kill the old dollar and birth the new digital cage. Not confirmed, fine, but absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence when the deep state's involved. They lied about MKUltra, COINTELPRO, Operation Northwards, amongst everything else. Why trust them with money? Digital currency is programmable, which means it's deprogrammable, which means it's controllable. Remember that, guys. Don't fall into the trap. Trust me when I tell you this. All right, guys. That's the Satoshi trap. America, guys, listen. Bitcoin could be the tool to slay the beast, or the beast's clever disguise. Stack stats wisely. Stay sovereign. Question everything. Dig deeper. Guys, drop your thoughts. Go to the Twitter X machine, DTOM Podcast 1776. Email me, Donq at DontTreadonMerica. Guys, make sure you subscribe to the pages on social media. Don't Tread America, Facebook, Instagram, True Social, and the Ticker Talker. Don't forget about the DTOM Store. It's still there. Go to the website, DontTreadonMerica.com. Make sure whatever podcast app you're listening to this on, you're following the show, you subscribe, whatever that button is there. There's no charges. It's free. And if you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify, guys, please leave a review. Hit that 5-star. Write something nice to me. We'll read it if it's nice. I'll read it if it's not nice. I don't care. Just give me a 5-star. You can call me a fucking idiot as long as you hit that 5-star. Guys, you guys make this possible. Next show, guys, I'm telling you, Tuesday, we're going to break down these scientists and military people that are dead or missing. I've got some thoughts for you. Other than that, you have a great day, and we'll talk later. Peace.